has been cycling and getting tight in a hurry. So I do think something is trying to spin up here as it makes its way into far northeastern Fayette County. Again, it's just about to move into far southern portion of Haywood County, and again, community of Hatchie, southwestern portions of Madison County. It's going to be here very soon. You don't have much time. It's going to be into far south Mercer. It's not listed on this list here, but it is going to be pretty darn close to Mercer by about 135, 138 or so. Then of course Jackson by 153 if it continues to tighten up any further than it already is. And again, this is not the only one we're worried about. We are watching what's going on back to the west and behind this, because that is about to bring some destructive, widespread 70+ mile per hour winds, and there might be some tornadoes with it as well. But right now, this is the one we're most concerned about right now as it continues to work its way up to the northeast. We're noting the lightning count is going up on this particular warning as on this area of went up to 82, back down to 76. But we'll get a new scan here to see what it does here, see if it tightens up any further. But the last three have certainly been becoming more and more alarming here as this continues to work its way off to the north and east here. And again, we've got several destructive, severe thunderstorm warnings that are coming out. Again, it's because of what's going on behind me. In fact, let me go ahead and back out and show you what's going on in the big. This is the big concern. This guy here. This has got widespread, destructive 70 to 80 mile per hour winds along with it, and within it, there's also got a couple potential tornadoes that are also with it. And then, of course, we have this new one that's also trying to spin up just ahead of it as a discrete, perhaps it's not a very organized supercell for sure at this point, but it has been tightening up over the last several scans here. Here's a look at the main line. I did track this out. We probably need to bring it forward here just a little bit. So I'm going to bring that forward just a little bit here and get some new times of arrival on the Bow Echo. So again, this is for the massive Bow Echo that we've been telling you about. Here's some times of arrival on that feature. So it's arriving in Memphis basically right now. It'll be in Brownsville by 2:06, Dyersburg 2:10, 2:29 here in Jackson, McKenzie by 2:53, Savannah by 3:12. Again, that's for the big storm. The one ahead of it also causing problems now. That we'll go back to that one, and again, we'll probably need to put a new track on that particular storm. Again, that'll be racing to the northeast at about 60 miles an hour itself. Chief Meteorologist Joe Barnes is also in.
All right, Mo. Mo and I got you covered here while we're watching this rotating storm just to the southwest of Madison County. And as Mo's been telling you about the last couple hours, destructive winds. We had a report of a wind gust over 85 miles an hour with this line just about 30 minutes ago. We were watching this one closely, as Mo said, but then this one just spun up right southwest of Madison County. Mo's going to get us a close look at that little hook, that little supercell, which is rotating right now. It looks like it's definitely got a classic hook on it. No confirmation of a tornado on the ground, but it definitely could spin one up as it moves up to the northeast into Jackson. So if you're watching us in Jackson, here's a look at the timing for this potential tornado. Again, it's radar indicated right now, but it's definitely got some pretty strong rotation. So we're probably looking at Jackson a little before 2 o'clock. So just stick with us. We're going to watch this storm as it does move up to the northeast here over the next 30 minutes. So, Mo, why don't we get in tight in there, and we'll give a couple of communities that definitely need to get into your safe spot. If you're in Hillville, that's go time. You need to go right now into Hillville. It's probably past you now in Dancyville, but I think the center of rotation stays just north of Cedar Chapel, but Hillville, you're just a couple minutes out. So if you are in Hillville, you need to be in your safe spot immediately. And then it looks like maybe over close to Hatchie. It may pass just to the north of Hatchie as well. So tornado warned storm, excuse me, for a little supercell that we are watching just to the south of us. And again, that is going to be very close to Jackson here within about 30 minutes. So again, this environment that you're looking at here hasn't really been worked over much over the last hour or so. So I think we do have enough energy to get this thing to put a tornado on the ground. Mo, let's flip up the velocity. I think we got a new scan maybe on that. And we'll head back over to that circulation so we can try to give people the latest in the Hillville area. As you see the very classic hook here on the reflectivity and some bright colors on the velocities on the reds and the greens with this storm, which Mo's going to pop up for us here in a minute. So we'll get in on that, Mo, circulation. Yeah, there's could be putting a tornado on the ground here any minute. So we'll get close into this. right here, that's where the tornado would be.
It's on top of Eurekaton right
Yeah,
now.
Yurkin, that's right where we think it is. It is coming right into Hillville. So please, if you're in Hillville, head to your safe spot. Again, we don't have any confirmation. Mo's going to flip up the debris tracker and see if we're seeing any debris showing up with this. But right now, we're just looking at a radar-indicated tornado, but that doesn't mean there's not one on the ground.
Oh,
so,
no.
Well, let's go back a couple of scans,
Let's go back
Mo.
a couple scans before we
because
jump into that.
we're getting a lot. Yeah, because we're getting a lot of other storm action in on this. So I know that it jumped out, looked like a debris ball, but I think we're going to, that's a pretty big area, Mo. I think we'd probably look for a more concentrated area of blue in there. But let's stick on this at least, Mo, till we get another scan. Mo's going to stick on that. I'm going to re-rack some graphics on the other Macs. So, Mo, why don't you keep a close eye on that CC real quick, all right?
Watch the CC. Going to wait for this next scan to oh, there we go. So new scan comes in. Still a little low. Still starting to circle off, close off here a bit, which is what we don't want to see. With that, but that is headed right. This is going right into Hillville right now. So if you are not, you need to get in shelter. So for that, for some safety tips here, that's going to be the most interior room. That's going to be the lowest floor of. There you go. So we've got if you're in a vehicle, hopefully you're not in a vehicle at this point, but a lot of people are just out and about right now, and this is happening real quick. So you want to find a sturdy building as fast as possible. Interior room. If that has to be a gas station freezer, whatever you have to do to protect yourself, you got to protect yourself from this dangerous storm, which might be trying to put down a tornado real quick in far southern Haywood County. It's not in Madison County yet, but that's close. I'm going to go ahead and move this track up just a little bit to that area where we're seeing a drop in CC, or our debris tracker here, and that's again in Hillville right now. It will be in Hatchie very shortly. You don't have long. 133. Denmark, Community of Denmark, 140. It's right down the street. 145, Huntersville. Jackson, if it holds together, we've got 152. Even here in Jackson, we don't have that much time. So if you're out and about, try to get home as soon as possible if you're listening to us here at this point. I do want to just take another quick gander at the velocity on this particular. Oh man, I'm really hoping to see some of these numbers come down a bit, but that is some very bright green indicated on this. So this is a very strong circulation, basically in Hillville right now. I'm going to double check with the National Weather Service to see if there's any confirmation here at this point. They're still basically going through all the stuff that's happening back to the west of Arkansas at this point. So their eyes are a little diverted now. So we're going to have to go by what we're seeing on radar here on this. We haven't had any confirmation at this point of a tornado. I just moved it again to get some more communities in here for us. We've got, again, Hatchie. It's pretty much going to be there within the next 5 minutes there, it looks like. For Hatchie, Denmark by 141, Huntersville by 146, Bemis 151, Jackson again we're looking at 150, 153. So it's not far, but again this is 120, 1:30 in the afternoon. There are a ton of people out and about. So this scan is a little weaker, and that's a good sign. We're not seeing the inflow. The inflow is not nearly as strong, and it's definitely not being met by the rear flank downdraft on the backside. But it is still clearly rotating at this point. But again, we don't have a confirmed tornado, but there's a lot of signs on radar at this point. Again, this is a pretty good shot right into this storm right now, based off of the Memphis radar at this point. So we're going to have to keep treating it as if this is trying to develop a tornado, and especially with so many people out and about on a Saturday afternoon.
All right, Mo. Mo's going to get some other stuff set up. Let's switch Maxes. We do have, again, several storms that are on the way. We can go ahead and pull up Max 2 here, or we can stay on Max 1 if we need to, but we're going to have to zoom in and get a little closer to that. So there's the timing that Mo has drawn up here with the storm. If it continues the same general direction, it will be moving into Max 1. So we're good there, Mo, on Max 2 now. So we've got our rotating supercell southwest of Madison County, and then we've got this destructive bow line as it's going to track up to the northeast. So here's a closer look. Okay, Mo, are we on 1 or 2 right now?
Right now they have 2.
Okay.
2 is up right now.
All right, here we go.
Yeah,
all
there
right.
you go.
So, all right, so here's our supercell thunderstorm, Hillville. It is on top of you right now. You're getting that inflow notch coming in right here. This is where it's trying to rotate north of Cedar Chapel. Looks like it's right in the Hillville area right now. A lot of bright colors. There is significant rotation. May not be tight enough to actually have a tornado on the ground right now, but it is very close. So I wouldn't take any chances. If I was in Hillville, I would be in my safe spot. So as the storm continues to track up to the northeast, here's a look at the timing on that. It does include Mercer, Hatchie, Hillville, Bemis, and possibly Jackson. Looks like after 2 o'clock if it continues in the same general motion and keeps the speed on it. But the speed's kind of been fluctuating a little bit, so maybe as early as 2 o'clock when it comes in to the Jackson area. But a lot of rotation here. We've got a strong inflow notch and a supercell thunderstorm. So there's a pretty good chance that this continues to be an issue for the next 30 minutes or so as it continues to move up the northeast. Brand new scan north of Hillville. So there's the center of rotation. Very bright colors, strong winds heading into the storm here, trying to rotate. So again, pretty certain that even if this doesn't have a tornado, those are very destructive winds that are with this storm. We can get a closer look, see if we can get some smaller towns to pop up in here along the line. So I'm going to go back a couple of scans where it started and then where it's going now. We'll put a line on here so you kind of have an idea of where we think it's going to go if it continues in the same general direction. So we'll go back a few scans, make sure our line lines up. All right, so right along this line, these are, we'll put that line back up there again, and then we're going to track this line to kind of show you some of the areas where we think it might be going over the next 30 minutes. So, all right, so we got our center rotation there. We'll get in on where it's at right now in Hillville. So this line, as you see there, Bachelorette Road, Highway 138, south of Leighton, north of Denmark. Looks like Huntersville, really close to it. Smith Lane over Hilliard Lane, and then crossing I-40 pretty close to the lower Brownsville Road area, and then maybe heading in to West and North Jackson. So there's a look at our storm as it is moving pretty quickly. Look, Mo, it looks like we're getting an update from the National Weather Service on our tornado warning. So
yes,
I don't know if they're trimming it.
They trimmed up Fayette County out, and then they they didn't they kept it as a radar indicated at this point. So again, we don't have any kind of confirmation at this point that it is a tornado yet, but we can tell you for sure on radar that this is a fairly impressive signature that's moving into western Madison County here.
Yes. Again, that's great that they haven't confirmed it yet. We're not seeing a debris product showing up, but what is not good is this is a pretty brutal looking storm, Mo.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely, yeah. You don't get those colors that bright without something trying to happen at this point.
Yeah, clearly this isn't one to take any risks with as it's coming on through. So we're going to stick with it here.
CC's looking a little bit better on my end over here.
Okay. All right, Mo's going to see if he can find the storm looking to the southwest of us. I'll pull up the CC that Mo was talking about and see if we can find any debris that's showing up in there yet. There may have been something there near Hillville. See that little blue or the white green blob near Hillville, but
yeah.
But it doesn't look super prevalent right now. But again, the debris tracker product is sometimes a little finicky when we're watching it, unless it's quite obvious, like it was the other night when we were in Selmer. So here's a look at that storm. We'll go ahead and pull that up that Mo's got. I'll pull it up here on Max 2. So here is a look looking to the southwest. But it's going to be hard to see because it's wrapped up. What we're looking at, we're going to have to look through the rain core to see it. Yeah. Rain and hail core looking to the southwest.
Yeah, it's always tough looking from northeast to southwest.
If we were southeast of it and had a look, I think it would be a lot easier to see. But basically, we're looking through the storm itself into the rain, which is making it a little bit more difficult to see. So we're still under that tornado watch and flood watch. Those both continue. 7 p.m. on the tornado watch tonight and 7 a.m. on the flood watch. There's our destructive bow line. It's beginning to get close to the Mississippi. We're going to talk a lot about that, but we've got to get through our storm that's just bearing down here in Madison County. It's still a couple minutes out before it moves into Madison County. Still got a pretty classic looking hook on it. The center of rotation, the inflow notch is now, if you're in Hillville, the tornado concern has passed you. I think it stays just northwest of Hatchie. Mercer, it's going to be a close call, but it looks like it's going to stay just north of you. It may not, though. Denmark, Neely. You need to be in your safe spot immediately if you're in Denmark and Neely as this is coming on by. There's a look at the center of rotation. Continues to spin up near Hillville. Again, taking that general track, it's going to be very close to coming into Jackson. If you're watching us in Jackson, you need to stay with us on this storm as it gets a little closer. You've got some time in Jackson. You don't need to run to your safe spot right now, but now is the time to make a plan where you need to be here in about 15 minutes. If it's still rotating, 10 to 15 minutes if it's still rotating and coming into town. So you need to gather up your children if you don't know where they're at. You need to find them, tell them to get home immediately so you can get to your safe spot. You don't want to be out driving around when something like this comes into the city. Very ominous look on our velocity product here that this is trying to spin up a tornado as it's going to go right over, looks like 138 just south of the Woodland area. So again, tornado not on the ground that we can tell, but there's definitely some things showing up on the CC product that has our attention. Nothing that we can confirm as an actual tornado right now, but we're definitely getting some activity on the CC product. We'll head back here to the velocity. I kind of want to put this in motion here. We'll give this a 30-minute loop so we can continue to track the actual direction of the spin.
We are also watching.
Go ahead, Mo.
Yeah, we're also watching the camera just to make sure. I'm trying to see if I can catch any debris or anything to kind of indicate that this thing is actually on the ground or even trying to be on the ground at this point. But the angle we're looking at it at, it's going to be very difficult to see that. But you can see here on this live shot here out the window here out of downtown Jackson.
All right. Go ahead, Mo. You got more?
No, road is just it's about done. We're trying, y'all.
All right, so all right, we'll get back to Mo here in a minute. Give him a second to catch his breath. There is what you're seeing here with this storm. We have our inflow notch that's coming in right here. This is our southeasterly winds into the storm, and then on the backside you've got northwesterly winds coming in behind it, and that's what's creating that rotation that we're seeing right here, very close to the Woodland area that is now moving off to the northeast.
Just a brief update on what's going on back to the west. An entire gas station awning has been collapsed on a patrol car over just in West Memphis. So yeah, this thing is doing some damage back to the west as well already.
Yeah, 80-some mile an hour winds. Non-tornado related winds up to 80 miles an hour. That's pretty unheard of. So
they think this impressive signature coming into Mercer, Tennessee. So they are sort of watching what's going on here as well. But again, they are getting hit live while they're trying to keep our storm warned at the same time. So this is going to be a little close.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys down there at Memphis. But if their National Weather Service office gets hit itself, it's going to be difficult for them to update us real time. But the radar will work, and Mo and I have had a lot of experience tracking radar, so that's what we're going to do here over the next 30 minutes with this storm and about next 15 minutes out as it comes in to the Jackson area. If you're just joining us now, a radar-indicated tornado warning is out. It will be getting very close here to Denmark and Neely over the next few minutes. Maybe Huntersville. You need to be in your safe spot if you're in Mercer, Woodland, Huntersville, Denmark, Neely, and probably start doing that if you're in West Jackson as well as it gets a little closer. Definitely is rotating. We'll go ahead and put another line on this just so we can continue to make sure we're tracking the center of rotation, where it started, where it's going, because sometimes these storms do try to move a little bit as they spin on by. So we want to kind of get that right as it's going to come very close into West and North Jackson on this storm. So again, we'll get back in on our line. There's the rotation. Looks like very close to Denmark. Huntersville, you need to be in your safe spot. And then Hilliard Lane on I-40 over through Van Drive.
The Vine Hill camera used to.
We're going to check and see if our Denmark camera is available to us right now. I know there was one in the system, but there was at least a couple weeks back it was struggling to work. But we'll take a look at it. We do have a lot of cameras here around West Tennessee in our camera network. It's just sometimes they go down if the person in charge of the camera isn't resetting it. We don't have access to them, so we're relying on somebody else. So we got southeasterly winds just into this storm. It's about 2 miles south of the interstate right now. It's going to run just south of the interstate here for another probably 5-10 minutes before I think it crosses I-40. But strong inflow notch here still with this storm. Radar indicated tornado. Lots of rotation, really tightening up right now west of Denmark. So we could see a tornado on the ground any minute with this. There's definitely some intense low-level rotation within this mesocyclone. So again, Denmark, Neely, our north
Denmark
of Denmark,
camera's
Neely.
down.
Yeah, unfortunately.
There's one in South Jackson that appears to be looking for it. I don't have access to bring it up though, but I can tell you that that one does work.
Okay, ugly looking road. This is probably worse than we've seen the last couple of scans with this storm. Looks like it is going to be tracking up to the northeast here, very close into West Jackson with a possible tornado on the ground. We should be getting an update here from the National Weather Service here pretty soon on this storm. If they think it's confirmed, we should be able to see that here on our debris product. Looks like now it's maybe heading closer to West Jackson. Again, we're keeping an eye on that little CC drop area. So, Mo, why don't you take over for a second? I'm going to grab some different batteries. I think that's my mic making that sound. Go ahead.
Oh, are you, Pop?
Yeah.
That one was doing that this morning as well.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we're going to take a look at what's going on here on Storm Tracker 7 Max radar. Again, looks like there was a little bit of a CC drop there just to the west of Denmark there on that last frame there as it continues to move off. But I'm going to go ahead and turn this back over to velocity right quick so I can see where he was at here. And again, that is again pretty close to, or just to the north and west. So this is pretty close to Denmark here as it moves off to the northeast there. Huntersville, it's going to be a close call between Huntersville and West Jackson, depending on where this circulation sort of wobbles. Although, looking back on Max 1 here, it might have occluded based off the reflectivity, which would be a wonderful thing if it occluded here for us. But the reflectivity is singing a different song, so we got two different things going on here. But either way, there's definitely some kind of strong rotation going on along US 70 there. And just southwest of Huntersville. So we'll see on this next scan if that improves or gets any better or weakens a bit here, which we hope it weakens. But the reflectivity is ending. That hook is just not as pronounced. In fact, if you could go back, never mind. Never mind on that new scan. That's that look at that inflow. Oh my, that's not good.
Yeah, I think.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's still very
very wrapped up at this point. Yeah, there's definitely something very wrapped up in there.
It's east of Woodland now. Looks like if it's right, the tornado would be at Green Road, no MD Walker Road, just north of St. John. You need to take shelter if you're on Huntersville, Denmark Road. It's coming into Algie Neely Road, Vine Hill Road. Going to be very close to you.
Yeah, that's where the camera would have been.
Yep, and then heading into McKenzie Road. I wish we could pull that camera up because it's probably got a heck of a story to tell here in the next few minutes.
Really close to the airport. If you're around the airport, this is very, very close to that, or just west of the airport at this point, as it's and I-40 at that. In fact, I-40 might be what we need to do. Let me pull up the I-40 tabs to see if. Like we don't have one that far west.
It's going over I-40, Mo, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's going to be very close to
I-40,
right around where you would get off for the airport. That's where it's at. If we've got a tornado right now, it's right where you would get off I-40, the exit right next to I-40 and the airport. That's where if we have a tornado right now, that's where it's located.
All right, we'll get another track here on this one, just in case, because it looks like it's almost spinning maybe up a little bit to the north.
I'm going to use our downtown camera to turn north just a little bit here.
As it looks like it may even be trying to turn up to the north a little bit, which would be good for downtown Jackson. But if it continues, that it may end up being closer to West Jackson.
Close to home for me. Yeah. I'm in North Jackson, so yeah, absolutely.
So lower Brownsville Road, you need to be in your safe spot immediately. Windy City Road along 412 as it gets closer to McLean Road, heading up to the Old Humboldt Road area, Cedar Brook, Young's Crossing, and then possibly up near Three-Way if it continues to spin up to the north like that, Mo.
Whatever it is clearly, we'll bring the camera back up here. I've got downtown Jackson camera pulled back up here. We'll go ahead and go back to Max 1, and I could just kind of show you what's going on here on Max 1 as I pull up the I usually have to tilt that in order to get it to look straight. But there we
All right,
go.
go for it, Mo.
Okay, so basically this is the area of the lowering here. If we've got a tornado, there's a potential lowering of the clouds here. I'm not sure that's quite what we're seeing here. This is Airways Boulevard, or parts of US 70 there. So we're just north of that here. I-40 would be just off the screen, just up here behind the trees, well behind the trees, of course, about 15, 20 miles north of that. So that's basically where this tornado is potentially happening. But notice there's just so much rain, we can't really see what's really going on there at this point. But I can tell you, based off of its location on radar, it is very close to the airport at this point, if not basically on top of it at this point. But we haven't confirmed if this is on the ground or not, but every indication is there on radar at this point that we've got something. I can see some, I hope that was lightning that I saw.
Yeah, Mo's going to keep a close eye on the camera for us. Let's head back, get a quick radar update on 2. So, very classic looking supercell thunderstorm. This is unfortunately not what you want to see. You see that that hook that's coming on in. Here's our southeasterly winds. There's where it's trying to spin up a tornado. Looks a lot like the ones we've been watching the last several days. So as Mo said, it's right next to the interstate right now. The center of rotation is very close to Huntersville. Huntersville, you need to be in your safe spot. If not, it's probably too late. West Jackson, North Jackson, you need to start getting into your safe spot as this comes through. Go ahead. If you're watching us on television, you got a cell phone, go to our WBBJ Facebook, our WBBJ News Facebook page. You can watch our live coverage there, or if you have, it's easier for you to access YouTube. You can pull up. We have a live feed on our YouTube channel, or you can access our live feed on our apps, either WBBJ Storm Team Weather or News app. Our live feed on our website, WBBJTV.com. You need to pull those up if you're in West and North Jackson and get to your safe spot if you can't hear us on your TV from your safe spot. So again, radar indicated. There's nothing that we've seen yet that says there's a tornado on the ground. That doesn't mean there is one. We just can't confirm that at this moment as it continues to spin up.
At this point, I'm watching for power flashes. Hopefully, that was lightning I saw earlier. But what I'm particularly watching for is power flashes. That will be a clear indication it's on the ground, and I have not seen that yet. So I'm going to keep an eye on it here. We've got the camera up on Max 1 if we need to flip to it. But right now, we're going to go ahead and... yeah, the CC's gone, so that's good.
So we're not seeing anything that's showing debris being lifted with this, which is the best radar image that I can show you with what we're dealing with right now, because this is definitely rotating and could drop a tornado any minute, although it may not have. Mo, how about we pull up that cam again one more time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's take a look at that.
We're still looking out to the west. So a second ago, I just saw a bright peach color that showed up there. I'm hoping it was just lightning, but what we're watching for any additional power flashes, and that would be an indication there's at the very least some kind of gustnado that's on the ground that's trying to develop there. But again, we're not really seeing that. I haven't seen any addition of that to that since I saw it about 5 minutes ago. So, and again, the rotation's still clearly there, but we're not really seeing the CC drop that we saw about 20 minutes ago, which is a good sign at this point. But again, we still think the tornado it was or should have been pretty close to about the airport area there, just off I-40, and now it should be on the north. There you go. So that was lightning on that one. Last time it had a little bit more of a peach color to it, but that time it was certainly lightning, it looked like, there on that last scan. So we'll go ahead and take another look at, I'm going to go pull, I think I've got it pulled up here on Max 1 here. We'll go ahead and take a look at velocity again here.
It's looking a little bit better, Mo, over the last couple of scans on the velocity. I mean, there's still plenty of rotation, but compared to what it was looking at
initially,
down near Hillville.
Oh yeah, that was definitely lightning that time. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and go back to Max 2 right now. So we'll go ahead and I'll give an update on that while Mo's setting some stuff up. So we've got our classic little hook on the way here. Winds, rotation about 5 miles west of Jackson. The velocity product is definitely looking better now than it did, I'd say 10 minutes ago. I'll show you the difference. So you see it's not as bright on the red, not as bright on the green. There's still rotation, but definitely not what it looked like about 15 minutes ago.
I'm feeling a little bit better about that because, boy, that was
Yeah, that doesn't mean that this won't tighten up before
Exactly.
it comes into West
we
or
have
North
seen
Jackson.
That several times in this stretch of severe weather. We've seen them where they weaken for a bit and they rapidly tighten right back up. And then we hope that doesn't happen, but that is something we're going to keep an eye on here.
See,
closely.
watch northeast of Hillville. See those bright colors as it went just south of Woodland. That was a lot more concerning for us, what we were seeing on the radar, than what we're seeing now. So I'm pretty confident in saying if there was a tornado, it has lifted to the west and north of Jackson as it comes through. I'm not saying get out of your safe spot, because you probably want to just play it safe till it comes through, but the radar scans in the last 5 minutes are significantly better than they were over the last 20 minutes or so. As the storm now continues, it'll be very close to three-way. We're going to see if we can get our three-way cam to look at it and see if the Madison County Fire Department's shooting that down towards the storm. But they're going to have the same problem we did here in Jackson as they're looking down through the rain, through the hail core. If we had a camera down into the Tude, Meaden area, looking up into this, or Henderson, I think we could get a much better look at the storm itself.
Actually, the link to that three-way doesn't seem to be working well. But let me also try Midtown Jackson. I'll pull that one up. I'll pull it from my show here real quick.
All right, Mo's going to get that Midtown Jackson one pulled up. Nothing showing up now on the debris product, so some really good news there with that situation. I do want to continue to peek back at the storms off to the west, because we've got new tornado warnings now that do include Crockett County, Haywood County, and sections of Dyer County. And that line probably coming in here within the next 45 minutes or so. Mo, that line was moving what, 65 miles?
It was
an hour,
moving 65 miles per hour, yes.
Okay, it looks like it may have come down speed a little bit, but I'm going to
Okay, yeah, so here's the Midtown Jackson camera. Can't tell which direction it's been turned here, but or is that tilted? I'm trying to see what's going on here. Doesn't seem to have a visual on anything at this moment, but if you could spin that around if someone's listening to us, that would be from the Watch Coalition. If you could turn that Midtown Jackson camera back to the west-northwest there, that would be ideal if that can be moved that way.
All right, let me know if they get that fixed, and we'll see what we can look. We do want to update people on this, because this is also coming on in. Here's our next event after the little spinning storm near Jackson. We've got straight line winds. These have had a history of producing up to 80-mile-an-hour winds. It's moving 60 miles an hour off to the east. So if you're watching us in Ripley, Dyersburg, New Bern, Trimble, this line is all coming your way. They're currently tornado warned because all the little notches along the line that you're seeing here. Each one of those notches may spin up a quick tornado. It's not a supercell type storm, but there is so much energy along this line that's why they've issued tornado warnings for these. So when this gets a little closer, we're going to get in on each one of those little notches and look for some potential rotation spots as they do begin to move into our WBBJ TV counties. So there's our tornado warned storm, still an inflow notch, still could try to produce a tornado. It is right on I-40 right now, northwest of Westover. As far as the rotation, it's very broad right now. We've lost some of those super duper bright colors that we had, which is really good, but it is still rotating just west and north of Jackson, heading up. I think it'll be close to Carroll and Three-Way, where the center of that rotation is, but looks, again, a lot better than 15 minutes ago. Mo and I were very concerned that this was going to drop a tornado and impact Jackson. But there's the rotation, again, as we said, north of I-40. Here's kind of the history of it. You know, it's kind of spinning up here even a little bit further to the north as it's lost some of its clout. But still heading up now into northern Madison, into southern Gibson County. You're going to pick up some pretty gusty winds from this rotating storm right now. Again, it may tighten back up, try to produce a tornado as it tracks up to the northeast, but we're not seeing any signs of a tornado. And where you see that, that's Westover. Mo, that doesn't add up at all, I think, with where the storm is. So I don't think that's
not where the storm was at first, no. We've been mentioning that could be starting to get a little bit clearer view here on this. If you could pull up this Midtown Jackson camera, a little bit better view of what's going on off to the. I guess that'd be to the west, or sorry, Midtown. If I can get my bearings correct, that would be looking back off to the west. So a little bit of clearing there. There you go. Thank you. That camera is starting to move a little bit here, so we can kind of see what was going on with that view. And again, not. seen any wall clouds, so that's a good thing. I don't see a wall cloud in that view. I'm not exactly sure. It looks like it's back off to the west again. They're looking to the west, which is the right direction for them. So we're not really seeing a wall cloud, so that is a good thing at this point. The National Weather Service was contemplating on reissuing a tornado warning as a mesocyclone is maintaining its strength or even slightly strengthening out. I guess that was at 150, so that was about a few minutes ago. Okay, let's see what they're thinking now. Going to let the tornado warning expire at the boot. Okay, never. That's something completely different. Yeah. Okay, so well, we do have some ominous, scary-looking clouds moving into downtown Jackson as well. In fact, let's flip it right over to that here. As we take a look at the West Jackson camera again. And you can see this ominous cloud is really starting to roll right into downtown Jackson here at the moment.
It looks pretty low. That's obviously where if it was going to produce a tornado, Mo, I think that's where it would come. That's probably looking right into that.
Might be the RFD coming back around the backside, and it's probably producing a new shelf cloud is what we're seeing here. So it's developing a new shelf cloud. So this might be capable of producing. Let me show you what we're talking about here. So notice this. Here's the base of the storm here, and then the lowering is coming down here. This is a shelf cloud that's redeveloping. So I think the circulation is still back behind this, but it's rotating like this, in this way. And then on the back side of this is the dry air that's pushing out the back of the storm, and now that's pushing down and down to the south and east towards downtown Jackson. We're starting to see the beginnings of a new shelf cloud developing. That would be a wind. That's going to bring a wind threat with that as that pushes through with it once it gets a little bit better organized. But we're seeing this sort of develop live. In fact, I'm going to turn that camera just a little bit here, and we're going to take a little bit more to the west and southwest here. Get a good look at this as it's coming in here. There you go. As that RFD is sort of rotating back around the backside of this supercell. So a very ominous look for sure. But again, what we're not seeing is a wall cloud, and what we would see for that is a particular lowering. We would see more of kind of a block that comes down here that's rotating tightly right here, something like that. Not necessarily in this location, but we're not really seeing that. Thank heavens for that. Again, I still think this will be more straight line, and then this is part of the front of that shelf cloud that's moving back towards downtown Jackson at the moment is what we're seeing here.
All right, let's go ahead and re-rack on 2. Mo's going to get some more stuff set up. Mo, great explanation. That was awesome, bud. Here's what we're looking at here in Jackson. We've got our rotating supercell. We've got a strong line of gusty windstorms on the way with some possible spin-ups in the northern section of that line, and then extreme winds on the southern section. So there's a look at the timing as it moves off to the east. We're going to be watching this closely over the next few minutes or over the next hour or so for potential spin-ups at all along this line. It looks like there's a little bit more rotation northwest of Covington. So we're going to be, that's what we focused on once this tornado warning ends, and we think this storm is just going to stay with a severe thunderstorm warning as it moves up to the northeast, and they're going to allow the tornado warning to expire at 2 o'clock. But there's still, we'll see if they do extend it, there's still plenty of inflow into this storm north of Jackson. Again, if you're watching us in Jackson itself, your tornado threat is over with this storm. I think it's going to stick.
Was there any additional rotation on the west? Any new rotation trying to develop?
Yeah, Mo, I got that right here.
That's the other thing. I was like, because this could be a situation where the rotation has split, and we might have something new trying to develop in Jackson. So I hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
But
yep, as Mo was telling you, often these supercells they will stop, they will reorganize themselves, and if they're struggling to produce a tornado, they're going to try to in a different spot. So there's definitely some rotation right over Jackson right now, but I think before it produces another tornado, I think it's probably going to spin up east of town. But you know, I would just these look like strong winds. I would stay in my safe spot as well.
Right now, you can see if you take Max 1 again here, you can see the camera shaking here. You can see the winds you can see the winds starting to shake the camera here. The shelf cloud just went by this camera. If you're looking directly up, you would see where the shelf cloud went by, and now the winds are picking up out of the west. So I think that's what we got going on here. So hopefully it's not trying to spin, but notice the clouds aren't returning the opposite direction in the background. So if this whole thing was rotating, then the clouds would be going back. Let me come on the camera and show you. These clouds would be going these clouds would be going back this way while that other one was coming around this way. We're not really seeing that, so that's good. So I think this is just a shelf cloud coming through. The shelf clouds going by, and now the winds are catching up behind it. So these are going to bring still some very gusty 50, almost 60 mile per hour winds. It's still a severe storm. That RFD can be quite strong. It'll be a colder, a drier wind that'll be coming in on the backside of this storm. Hopefully that is the case. And of course, some of these other anomalies you're seeing here, that's raindrops that are stuck on the lens, and it's giving some impressions that we have funnels, and that's not what's really happening. Unfortunately, it does bring down the quality of the image a little bit, but I don't think that's what we're not looking at a tornado here. So thankfully for that. I'm just going to swing this around just to make sure we're doing our due diligence. Go ahead.
Well, we got a tracker for the timing of the old rotation that we were watching. So Medina, Goat City, Cedar Grove, Holly, Jumbo. Oh, yeah. There's a look at the timing of this.
Yeah, that's a shelf.
And then we've got some strong winds, as Mo's showing you here. That's a shelf cloud that you're looking at on Max 1. But do want to get a quick radar update again here with our storm in Madison County. So again, we still do have that inflow notch coming in South Jackson, but it doesn't look as impressive as it did before. But it's still got some strong winds on the way, and we still do have a potential split here. This storm may split. We may get a southern storm and a northern storm, but here's the main concern. If the tornado did try to redevelop, it would be near Oakfield and Carroll. You notice that the tornado warning has been allowed to expire at 2 o'clock, but this is still severe thunderstorm warned for up to 60-mile-an-hour winds, and it still could try to spin up a tornado as it reorganizes itself, as Mo was mentioning. Sometimes these, they look nasty, then they calm down a little bit, and then they get nasty again real quick. So, but there's a look at the rotation up near Carroll, Gilmore. As that moves, it'll pass just south, I think, Medina. If you're watching us in Humboldt, the center of rotation of this is going to miss you. But Cedar Grove, you're going to get some strong winds. And if it does try to spin back on up, I think it could be a problem for Cedar Grove and Clarksburg. But again, just a severe thunderstorm warning on this cell right now as it's moving on through. A little bit of rotation did go through Gibson County also, but not enough to issue any sort of tornado warning. So here's the tracker again on it as it moves up to the northeast, Cedar Grove, Terry, and then maybe Clarksburg on the way for this one. We're going to check back in with Mo. Mo, I'm going to start getting some graphics set up for that west line because those are our next line of tornado warnings coming in. Go ahead.
Okay, so got what's left of my voice here again. Now the rain is starting to catch up with that RFD again. We saw the shelf cloud that was going north-south. This again is North Highland right here. That comes right downtown. This is the Jackson Walk right here. And again, this is just a very heavy rain that's pushing its way back on the backside of this thing. The shelf cloud is off to the east. The east would be this way, and that's going to continue to work its way out. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around to kind of follow that shelf cloud if we can still see that, hopefully, as it's going off to the east here. There you go. So there it is. So that's the shelf, that's the cloud that's racing off to the east now. We're looking back over City Hall. Our typical watching the sunrise view, that's where we're at right now. So that's City Hall right here. We've got, you can see that's the edge of the shelf cloud, and it's racing off to the east. And right behind it, we now have the rain that's coming behind my back here, and that's what's pushing to the east. And that was on the back side of the supercell. That's still rotating, but it's pushing northward, which is going that way here. And now we've got this rainfall, the rain that's catching up on the back side of the system after what was the original circulation has moved well off to the north and east. But at this point, we're not seeing any additional or new rotation developing back here yet. But we'll certainly be keeping a very close eye on that. Let's go ahead and take a look at, I'll go ahead and pull a radar up and take a look at the latest scan here while Joe gets his show racked up here. And again, still has that little appendage back there. It's just hanging around. It just wants to hang around there on Max 1 there. But they did drop the tornado warning, so that is encouraging. They don't feel like they don't feel it is warranted enough to continue that tornado warning any longer. Although it's like it might be trying to tighten up a bit on this scan. Let me look at the one before that here. Let me go take a look at that trend here on this Max here. And
it looks like just east of Gilmore.
Yeah,
near Oakfield. It's a little bit tighter now.
And looks like it's trying to tighten back up here. This is going to be very basically. It's going to be. I'm trying to see where. Let's go in tight here and take a look here exactly where we are. Again, so this is New Deal School, if you're familiar with that location. This is east of Three-Way. If you're up in southwest Carroll County, better get ready. So southwest Carroll County, if you're Cedar Grove, up along US 70, probably go ahead and be thinking about getting ready to head to your safe spot. This doesn't look as tight as it was, but supercells are known to do that. They're known to cycle. The environment will support that today if this thing wants to cycle right back up as it continues to move northeast back now into southwestern Carroll County. So if you're in southwest Carroll County, I need you to go ahead and start preparing to possibly need to prepare for something trying to spin up here rapidly once again. And it's not uncommon at all for storms to, for supercells specifically, to really sort of ramp up and spin back up after they weaken. In fact, we probably can see pretty well, almost here. I just want to turn that camera back to the northwest here. We're going to look right at the back of that storm here as it's exiting away from us here, and see if we can get a good shot there of that. I'm going to go full.
All right, Mo, let's get that camera pulled up here, and so it's kind of tough to see. Mo's going to get some stuff set up. Let's head back to Max 2 right now. We've got, again, rotation, maybe even some hail trying to show up north of Jackson, but our tornado-warned storm right now is this one, which is just north of Covington. You see several notches along that line. That's where the rotation is getting very close to Ripley. Hall's Friendship, I know Ripley had a close call this morning as well. So a lot of rotation here, but to pinpoint the center of it, it's probably around Henning as it's going to track up to the northeast. A lot of radar contamination here with this radar scan, but right there near Ripley, Henning, that's going to continue to track up to the northeast. We'll try to get one more closer look at here on the main notch that's coming on in. It looks like to 51. So if you're watching us in Ripley, it's now time to get into your safe spot. No confirmed tornado, but radar indicated and a lot of wind. So here's some of the communities that could be impacted by that notch. Ripley, you see curve there, Gates, Halls, Maury City. We all need to watch this very closely over the next 10-15 minutes for new radar scans and any sort of potential tornado. Back to the Jackson storm, as you notice, northeast of Jackson now. If you're watching us in Jackson, there is no tornado threat for you right now, but if you're northeast of this circulation, which does include Cedar Grove, and you notice we're starting to get some reds and greens coming together again, so there's a chance we get this tornado warning issued on this again here pretty soon. Hopefully the next couple scans show less rotation, and then we won't get a warning, but if we get one more that shows anything more interesting or tightening up more brighter colors than that, I think we're going to get a tornado warning again from the National Weather Service. Might be getting a
ragged wall cloud here developing. Let's take back, if you don't mind, can we take?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let's take Max 1 real quick. Might be a wall cloud trying to form here. Not 100% positive here, but this might, if you look closely here, this entire thing is sort of rotating just a little bit. So this might be what we were looking at on that velocity scan. So this is what's coming into Carroll County. We're looking back directly off to the north and east here, and this whole thing might be rotating very, very slowly, but I can potentially see this becoming a bit of a wall cloud as it continues to move, and that's usually a precursor to a tornado, by the way. A wall cloud, it's usually aloft. It doesn't mean it's a tornado yet, but it's a precursor to one, and that might be what we might be seeing trying to form here. This is looking from downtown Jackson, looking directly northeast there towards right up Highway 70 here and making its way into southeastern Carroll County. If we can go ahead and go back to radar here so we can sort of confirm basically what we're seeing, what we may be seeing here.
Mo, I got a tracker on this. If you are watching us in southwest Carroll County, as Mo was saying, here's the main area of rotation with this. Right there's what Mo was
that's definitely spinning.
So it may, again, it looked pretty high up in the sky, but the lower it gets, the more concerning it will be for us. So there's a look at the timing for Clarksburg, Howley, Lost, Cedar Grove. Again, this is not tornado-warned storm right now by the National Weather Service, but it is showing plenty of rotation. And we think if we get another radar scan that looks any worse than the one we're looking at right now with the next one, we probably will get this upgraded back up to a tornado warning. But still 60 probably mile-an-hour winds. It still has a severe thunderstorm warning tag with a tornado possible. So there's the area of rotation with that. We'll try to get back in here and get here's looking at it from a different radar. You still see the greens and the blues coming together. So definitely still rotating there. We're northeast of Jackson as it slides by. So if you're watching us in Jackson, Humboldt, Luray, this is not going to impact you. But if you're watching us again in Cedar Grove, Clarksburg, possibly Huntington here in about 20 minutes, if it continues to spin up, we're going to keep an eye on it. So there's the area of rotation. Again, it's not tight enough for the tornado warning. That's why the National Weather Service hasn't issued one yet. And I believe they probably got several people that are spotting this, keeping an eye on it for them, because if you're southeast of this storm, it would be pretty easy to see, I think, if there was a tornado on the ground east of Oakfield. So there's the big picture of the rotation, tracking just north of the interstate. So I think any sort of tornado that would try to spin up still, I think it's going to stay north of I-40 with this, as the storm is northeast of Jackson. But right there is where the rotation is, where you see the greens and the reds that come together, and it's going to be a close call. If you're in Cedar Grove, although you're not under a tornado warning, I may just try to seek shelter as it comes by, just to play it safe, just in case it does drop a tornado. But it looks like the center of rotation's right there on 70, heading into Cedar Grove. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning capable of producing a tornado. Could be heading that way. Again, nothing that we're seeing on the radar or storm spotters have confirmed a tornado. Mo and I are just a little bit concerned about the rotation. We'd rather play it safe than sorry for some of our communities when there's a rotating storm heading into your way.
Especially in the environment that we're dealing with. We know how capable the environment is of supporting that kind of development. I hope and pray that that's not what we have going on here. But it looks like it's breaking up quite a bit, so it doesn't look nearly as organized.
Oh, this is the west storm. I'm over here in Ripley. I was trying to.
I apologize.
Yeah, trying to set some graphics. Let me get back to the other storm, that Mo, so we can comment on it. Go ahead, Mo.
Oh, yeah, I apologize. But anyways, we had, it looks like that rotation is broadening up a little bit. Remember, it was a little tighter on that last couple of scans here. That's when it really looked scary. But now on that latest scan, plus what we're seeing on visually, it might be breaking up just a little bit compared to what it was.
You're up on one, Mo. Go ahead, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we still have a broad rotation here at this point. Excuse me, in northeastern, this is far northeastern Madison County. This is the Boot Hill, if you would, of Carroll County. And again, what we were looking at on, I'm just going to bring the camera right back up here. I believe that, again, not nearly as impressive as it looked earlier, but don't get me wrong, that's ominous looking, right? Look at those very dark clouds. That was the original shelf cloud that's been pushing to the east there. And this was something that might have been trying to briefly rotate. We had this entire area sort of spinning. And again, we're looking off to the northeast here, off towards, we're looking in this direction to the northeast, and that's now almost over to Henderson County. This is the Henderson County line, and there we go. So the new scan just came in. It looks a little weaker here on this scan. So basically, it's the inflow side of it's just south of Cedar Grove here, and to the far southwestern portion of Carroll County at this point, as it continues to work its way to northeast. The National Weather Service, I did let them know about the rotating wall cloud, so we'll see what they decide to do on this storm as it continues to work off to the northeast. But at this point, it's not looking as bad as it did about 10 minutes ago when it was a little bit further west here in Madison County. So hopefully the threat for tornado is sort of diminishing and hopefully done for this particular storm. Unfortunately, we do have several hours, a few more hours to get through before we're ultimately going to get back over to some more calmer and quieter weather. But of course, we still have all the rain and that bow echo, which we probably need to go ahead and take a look at, see if it has weakened or falling apart at all.
A little bit, Mo. It definitely, the bow echo does not look as rough as it did when it was west of the Mississippi. So you can go back and see, look at how bright it was on Max 2. Look how bright it was, the reds, right? When we're approaching the Mississippi River, that's when we had those up to 80-mile-an-hour winds. And you notice now it's lost a lot of the color. The main storm of concern for severe weather with this bow right now is probably from Mason northward to Ripley, and that's where our area of rotation is trying to get going, close to the Halls area. So if you're watching us in Halls, folks, Friendship, probably want to get in your safe spot. I'm not seeing anything that's saying there's a tornado on the ground, but this is the area that has been trying to spin up along the northern edge of that bow. And again, as Mo was saying, the atmosphere is really charged up, so things could happen pretty quickly. The main concern for rotation is right there, southeast of Ripley now. Woodville heading into the Fork of Deer area, but it's very broad. We're not seeing those super duper bright colors right now on the radar, but that's the main area of concern, which eventually will be coming in to Maury City. We'll get a tracker on this. If you're watching us in Maury City, looks like here's the timing for you if it continues in the same general direction and if it continues to spin as it comes by. But the line looking a lot better than it did just about an hour ago. So you notice there's kind of two areas of the line. The northern section here is the one that's rotating, and down here, the southern section, that's more of a straight line wind line that's coming into Oakland, Somerville, Whitetail, maybe Bolivar. There's also, again, a section right in the middle near Mason that's coming into Hillville, Meaden. So there's multiple areas along this line that we think are producing probably 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. The overall tornado threat on this line looks pretty minimal at this time. Meteorologist Jordan Hubbard is also in the building now. So Mo, myself, and Jordan are all going to track this line as it comes on through for you folks in the next hour or two. We're really expecting the severe storm threat to weaken over the next couple of hours, but we've still, I think, got at least an hour of dealing with some possible severe weather along this line as it comes through. Again, just the one tornado warning. Our storm back in northeastern Madison County right now, not as impressive as it was, obviously, 45 minutes ago when we got the tornado warning. There is still a little bit of rotation we're watching near Cedar Grove, but severe thunderstorm warnings out till 2:45. There is no longer a tornado warning with this cell, but it still does have some broad mid-level rotation, especially around Cedar Grove. So again, if you're watching us in Jackson, this is past. It's not a problem for you, as it looks like it's now moving into southern Carroll County. So away from Gibson County as well. So Howley, Jumbo, Clarkburg. Looks like the center of rotation will stay just south of Huntington, we think, with this storm. And there's no tornado on the ground with it currently, but we're keeping a close eye on it. As the storms move to the east today, I believe they're going to be weaker, especially once they get east of Madison. I think when the storms get east of Madison, as well as Hardeman County, we're really going to see them falling off and weakening pretty quickly. So again, if you're Jackson westward, I think your chance for some severe weather is a lot higher with this line as it's going to come on through. All right, I'm going to head back up here. Let's get a look at that western line that we're watching. Again, we got the one tornado warning. Hey, thanks for sticking with us, by the way, folks. This is 4 days in a row. I know this has had to been hard on everybody in West Tennessee. We had tornado warnings the last night around 4 or 5 in the morning that people had to get up for into Gibson County, and we're doing it again in Gibson County as this line's about to come on in. So about 12 hours ago, 12 hours now. We're almost through this, all right? We just got a couple more hours of our severe weather before things calm down, and then we're going to have to take a big picture at the flood problems that I think are really an issue in some areas. But so here's our line. It's extending very close to Nutbush up through Halls. Folks, Dyersburg, you're on the northern edge of this tornado warning, we'll keep a close eye of the rotation. But here's the main concern for a spin up right now. It doesn't look too interesting, but there's definitely some rotation in that area just to the northwest of Nutbush. There's some minor rotation up on the northern section of this line, but I don't think you're in for any sort of tornado in Dyersburg, although you're kind of right on the edge of that tornado warning. Friendship, this area of rotation is probably going to stay south of you. It looks like it could be a bigger problem for Maury City if, again, it starts to rotate a little bit more. Currently, it's pretty minimal on the rotation, but that's the only area inside this tornado-warned polygon right now that even gives me the slightest concern. So it's right there. It's going to run up north of Nutbush and then over into Maury City. Down south, this looks like straight line winds, but we're still seeing some bright colors. There's probably still some 50, 60 mile an hour wind gusts. I just don't think they're 80 like they were earlier as they were approaching the Mississippi River. But these are coming in quickly into Hillville, Somerville, Williston, and then probably about 20 minutes out, they'll be getting closer to Whiteville and Hickory Valley. This is probably 60 coming into Stanton as well. And again, Hillville, and eventually this is coming into Madison County. Here's the Madison County line again, so probably about 20 minutes out before we get another round of thunderstorms coming in to Madison and probably Jackson as well. So up north, there's our area of spin up there, but you notice there's still a couple other little notches along this line that are going to be moving off to the east. So we're going to watch this entire little northern section of the line for any possible little spin-ups. But there's the one that's, again, gives us the most concern. All right, let's update you on the storm that did go through Jackson into the Cedar Grove area. That is now moving up to the northeast. Definitely some rotation with this. So we're going to watch it. It's still got some bright colors. So I wouldn't be surprised if we popped another tornado warning with this one as it moves up to the northeast. But they're going to need to see a little bit more than that on the radar scan. But that's why we said probably be in your safe spot if you're in Cedar Grove till it passes. As I said, sometimes it can spin up even between radar scans. The radar scan's not every second. You know, you get an update every minute or two, and sometimes the radars can miss things in that just couple minute span. But definitely has more rotation on it now than it did about 5 minutes ago. So again, if you're along 70 as this races up to the northeast, you may want to head to your safe spot. If not, watch us very, very closely because we could be getting a tornado warning issued with this at any minute again. So it just keeps trying to recycle. It'll try to drop a tornado, then it'll try something else. It's just going through all of its tricks. It really wants to try to produce a tornado, but hopefully we can continue to fight that off as it moves up to the northeast. So there's a look at the center of rotation near Cedar Grove with that storm that did come past just north of Jackson. But I think the main area of rotation is going to be very close to Clarksburg, probably stays just south of Huntington by a few miles as it comes on by. So we'll watch it. Here's another radar look at it. It doesn't look as good when we're not using the Memphis radar. We're going to hopefully pull that up here now. I'm going to pull that up on our Camden radar. I think it's close enough that we should be able to get a decent look at it from our Camden radar. So I'm going to do that right now, and we'll see what we can get with the Camden radar. So the Camden radar, it's getting close. It's a little bit out. It's not really picking up any rotation on the Camden radar, which is good. And maybe a little bit of hail, though, coming in from Macklemoresville down through Cedar Grove. So good news is if the radar out of Camden's closer to it. So I think if there was some significant rotation that was showing up, the Camden radar would do the best to pick it up. Memphis radar is a little bit far away, so that's probably why it's not... or that's probably why it's showing a little bit more rotation because it's looking higher up into the storm. All right, back to our tornado warned storm. We haven't forgot about you in Carroll County. We'll get back to that here in a couple minutes, all right? But we do have more of an inflow knot showing up with this storm here north of Nutbush. So there is a look at that rotation there right in the Tulan area, close to Forkadeer and maybe Elmer if it continues to track up to the northeast. So definitely some rotation. I don't see, again, a tornado on the ground with this, but it's got an inflow notch, and it's definitely rotating a couple miles north of Nutbush as it tracks off to the east. And these are fast-moving storms along this line. They're moving up still close to 60 miles an hour. That's the thunderstorm itself, and then the winds gusting out in front of it are pretty close to around 60 as well. These may be stronger straight-line winds down south. So the southern section, the straight-line winds may be stronger, but the tornado threat is less. That'll be heading into Hillville, Whiteville, Hickory Valley, Somerville, Williston, and then into Madison County here. This is probably the strongest wind section along this entire line. As you notice here near Stanton. So heading into Hillville, Meade, I think you got some strong winds, probably about 30 minutes out coming into Meade, maybe some 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. All right, up north here, again, Dyersburg, you're no longer under that tornado warning. It looks like they've trimmed it down a little bit, but it does still include Friendship. But it's that notch right there that's going to track very close to Alamo maybe here in about 20 minutes. So if you're watching us in Alamo, you need to watch this. It may track a little north, somewhere between Maury City and Alamo. Kind of depends on where that area of spin-up tries to continue. Notice we're even looking at possible rain-wrapped little donut there, so we need to keep a close eye on that one. All right, quick up. I do want to check in on this storm again. It's got the two little inflow notches, and we saw some decent rotation last time I looked at it. This is all pretty broad. This is good. It's not as tight, this scan, as the one that we looked at before, so we're not going to get a tornado warning on this at least for a few minutes. They obviously will need to see more radar data because this is not enough to issue a tornado warning, so that's good. But it will, again, track south of Huntington, north of Clarksburg, that area of rotation. It probably still some pretty strong winds, maybe some hail mixing on in with this as well. I know you see a lot of bright colors, but they're just not. We're not seeing the reds and the greens right next to each other right now in bright enough color to issue that tornado warning. Cedar Grove, it's now past you. It's just to about a mile to the northeast of you in Cedar Grove, but you need to watch it closely as it comes into Huntington, Clarksburg, and Wildersville. You probably got some gusty winds coming in to your area. I think the main gust front stays just north of Lexington. It's going to get windy in Lexington, but I think the main concern for severe winds is going to pass just to the north of you. You notice that on this radar. Again, you'll probably get some 30-40s into Lexington, but if there's any severe thunderstorm winds, I think they're going to be closer to Wildersville and then up into Carroll County. That was an old scan. Not seeing anything on the debris that would make me think that there's a confirmed tornado with this. Meteorologist Jordan Hubbard is with me as well in the Storm Team Weather Center. Jordan, say say hi to everybody. Hopefully we don't have to say goodbye to anybody here soon. Do you got some stuff pulled up, or you need another minute?
I could use another minute. I do have an update. The cold front is on our side of the Mississippi River, folks. So we're almost there. The light at the end of the tunnel is here. It's east of Dyersburg. It's still not quite to the Crockett County line, but Halls and Ripley right on top of you, Covington, cold front's right there. We're almost done, folks. We're going to be able to start trimming people out very, very shortly.
All right, and I wanted to give a huge thanks to Mo. Mo has been in here for now about 12 hours because Mo had to come in early when those tornado warnings started popping up that meteorologist Brian Davis was covering for those of you that got up around 4 o'clock in the morning. And if you don't remember, Mo was sick a couple days ago, and he's put on his time. So we are very lucky here at WBBJ to have the team we have with Mo as well as Brian and Jordan. So we're almost through this. Got a couple more hours, but we need to stay focused for just a couple more till this line passes on through. So Brownsville, you got some pretty strong winds, it looks like, on the way coming for you. Eventually these are coming into Hillville, Meaden, and Stanton. Again, no confirmed tornado on this tornado warning to the north of us, but you still do see some little inflow notches trying to get going in that northern line. So this area is the one that's been trying to rotate the last couple of hours. The southern portion of this line has been doing more, has less rotation and more straight line winds. It looks like there could be some hail. We'll get close in on that one, just showing up northwest of Clarksburg. That's in Scott Hill area, heading over into Tate and Hilliard. So that just popped up in one scan. So probably got some hail coming into Hilliard, maybe Buena Vista. It probably stays just south of Huntington. But if you're a couple miles south of Huntington, looks like you probably have some large hail that is on the way. We'll see if it shows up again on another scan, but maybe we'll get a different radar taking a look at it. Yeah, so it's showing up on a couple different radars. Let's see if our Camden radar can pick up that hail core as well. That is beginning to show up. So yeah, it's showing a couple different hail cores actually. It's got one southwest of Jumbo, and then it's got the one coming into Scott Hill and Leach. So all the radars showing that there is some hail there, probably up to at least nickel size, maybe quarter. But if they determine it's quarter, they will issue a severe thunderstorm warning for the hail as well. But again, that storm does have a severe thunderstorm warning tag on it for hail and wind. It does not have a tornado warning, but there's definitely some rotation in there. So can't rule out this one getting a tornado warning tag. Every time we look at it, one scan looks pretty ominous like this one, and the next one looks better. So, but definitely concerning storm that we're still going to monitor, although it doesn't have a tornado warning on it. But if you're in Clarksburg, probably just want to head to your safe spot to be safe. Again, the center rotation will stay south of Huntington, and then probably even south of Brewston, and then tracking south of, it'll be close to Camden if it keeps the same general motion that it has been taking, but probably more of a holiday concern than Camden right now. But there's a look at it from the Memphis radar. We're kind of losing any sort of rotation from the Memphis radar as it's so far away. That's why we've got our Camden radar, because once those storms get into that area, look how far it is from the Memphis radar. It's pretty much does very little for the people in Carroll County, as well as people over into Henry and Benton County. The radar is just too far away. But that's why we got our extra way of looking at it here at WBBJ, that we have our exclusive rights here in West Tennessee to that Camden radar, and we're going to use it every time we can. So again, pretty good news. I tracked this out where this is coming south of Camden for you guys. And here's the center of rotation. I'm thinking this is probably the general direction. So if you see your community here, you're probably going to be dealing with some gusty winds, and can't rule out a tornado as it comes on through. So if you're in Holiday, Dollar, Westport, you need to stay with us while we're watching this storm coming on through. So before we get to Jordan, I do want to get back up here to our western storm, which is still a bow echo. You say, what is a bow echo? Well, it looks like a bow, right? So you see this bowing structure that comes from Dyersburg down through Memphis. Typically, bows produce very strong straight line winds, sometimes hail, and sometimes spin up tornadoes. But what they do is bring 60+ mile an hour winds. Sometimes a bow echo can turn into what we call a derecho. I don't think we're going to get that with this one, but this is probably 60 mile an hour winds. We're about to see a new severe thunderstorm, I'm almost certain, which is going to include more areas, Milan, Jackson, Bolivar, as the line gets a little closer. There may even be a little bit of hail core showing up into the middle, but it looks like pretty heavy rain. Jordan, are you ready for a quick update?
I do have an update. So our tornado warning is expired as of 2:30. So no tornado warnings active in West Tennessee right now. They are going to replace that very shortly, the tornado warning. They're going to issue a downstream severe thunderstorm warning. We're also getting another severe thunderstorm warning for Carroll, Benton, and Henry County. They said they're going to take that all the way to the state line with Kentucky very shortly. But I'm getting another update that they may be, they're considering adding a tornado warning to the apex of the Boeing segment.
Okay, yeah, that's where it also looked like there may have been some hail on that one too. So definitely concerning. So that's probably right there in Brownsville, I think. So let me see if I can get some hail to show back up on that radar that I was looking at. So right there at Brownsville's where there could be some hail. That's also where we may get a tornado warning issued. So if they do issue a tornado warning right on the center of that bow, it will include us here in Jackson. But you said they're just considering that right now, right?
Right. I do also have we do have the new severe thunderstorm warning in for Benton, Carroll, Henderson. It includes Wildersville, but it's going to pass you very quickly. Clarksburg, Brewston, Camden, Holiday, New Johnsonville. Our phones are going off.
I believe that's for the severe thunderstorm warning. They probably have enhanced tag on the severe thunderstorm warning for winds over up to 70, maybe even 80.
It hasn't populated in Max yet, but I will see. No, that's actually a considerable flash flood warning. Let me get the wording on that. Emergency management reported thunderstorms producing 1 to 3 inches of rain. An additional rainfall of 2 to 4 inches are possible in the warned area. Flash flooding is currently ongoing.
All right, what locations, Jordan?
It's big. Almost all of eastern Arkansas, Benton, Carroll, Chester, Crockett, Dyer, Fayette, Gibson, Hardeman, Hardin, Haywood, Henderson, Lauderdale, McNary, Madison, Shelby, Tipton, Weekly.
All right, so everybody.
Everybody but Obion and Lake.
Wow. All right, as I said, when we're done with this storm threat, we're going to really have to focus in on the flood concern because I think it's going to be a big problem. All right, so we've got our rotating storm, probably some hail there. We'll get back to that here in a second. We've got that new severe thunderstorm warning, does include Camden, not a tornado warning. There are no tornado warnings right now, but what there is a very strong line of winds, which is on the way from Dyersburg down into Memphis. There's our new severe thunderstorm warning, which does include Bolivar, Jackson, and Milan. Jordan, what's the wording on the max wind speeds from the National Weather Service? I'm probably thinking about 70, they're saying, up to 70 mile an hour gusts with that.
Give me just a second. It's struggling to query.
All right.
But I can pull it up from the Weather Service themselves.
Yeah.
We've got, it's a bare minimum severe thunderstorm warning, 60 mile per hour gusts and quarter size hail.
All right, so they're saying just up to 60 mile an hour gusts. That's good because the last time they issued this for this line, they had it up to 80 mile an hour winds. All right, so a little bit of rotation near Maury City. We got a couple different notches along that. Couple little notches here on this line. We should be able to look off to the west, I believe, and see this as it gets a little closer to Jackson. It's still a ways out. Meteorologist Jordan Hubbard's going to try that. But what you do see on the southern section line, you really don't see those notches, which is where we look for possible spin-up tornadoes. So our tornado threat's not zero. I think it's just pretty minimal along this line right now. But what isn't minimal is going to be these winds that are on the way. But these very strong winds here from Johnson Grove, Maury City, Bells now down through Jones. So this is coming in out of Fruitvale, Gadsden, Coxville, Adair. This is probably about 5-10 minutes out. Looks like we've got some strong winds coming into Humboldt here as well. But the worst of it may be just south of Humboldt with those winds with this storm. But again, anywhere along the leading edge of this could have some isolated 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Colors are a little brighter when we're getting south here, which means stronger winds. That's Hillville, Woodland. It's on the way in Woodland. It'll be there in the next minute or two. And then down south, Whiteville, Tune. So here's a look at that wind line as it's coming through. So, Jordan, how fast did they say this storm was actually moving?
It's moving due east at 45 miles per hour.
All right, so I'm going to get a tracker along this entire line, sections of it. So let's start up here with these communities, Mead and Tune. So there's a look at the timing for you guys on this line, which includes Bolivar, again, Mercer, Pinson, Silerton. So that's that area along the line with the timing. The northern line, let's time that out as well. We'll go down from Friendship to Hillville coming into Jackson. So here's the timing for the northern line. So that's Hillville, Alamo, Humboldt, three-way, Jackson, right around 3 o'clock. Medina, 3 o'clock. Pinson, maybe around 3:08. So again, we'll zoom this out. Got this big severe thunderstorm line, which is on the way. The entire line itself traveling at 45 miles an hour. And if it continues, you notice places like Henderson could be 315, Fenger 322. So Hornsby's also on that list, and Gadsden, Whiteville. So pretty intense line of storms that is on the way. Here's a look at the camera. We are looking off to the west of Jackson, and it looks like you can kind of see this shelf cloud, which is on the way. I think that's it off in the distance. It's still, again, a ways away. Actually, this is looking south, Jordan. Can you spin that? Yeah, here we go. Go back to the west. So keep going.
It's lagging behind.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's off to the west. So it looks like it's still a ways away before we can pick it up on our camera. But we're going to continue to watch the camera to see if we can see that. As again, it showed you that how close it is to us right now. It's going to be here around 3 o'clock in Jackson. That's about 25 minutes or so. All right. So here's the latest. If you're just now joining in, we have a tornado watch. That's out until 7 p.m. The flood watch remains in effect until tomorrow morning. So we had a rotating supercell go right through Jackson. No reports of any damage or a tornado from it that we've seen from the National Weather Service. If you do have any reports, you can send them to us or the National Weather Service. Again, we like reports because sometimes we can only look and see what we see on radar. That doesn't mean we know what's happening at your house. So if you get wind or storm damage like we did the last couple of days, please try to send us a message here at WBBJ or contact the National Weather Service or the emergency management people if you'd rather let them know so that we can have some ground truth to what we're seeing. But bright reds on the way, strong winds coming into Jackson. I would not be surprised if we got some 50, 60 mile an hour straight line winds in Jackson with this line as it comes through at about the top of the hour. So a lot of still borderline notches up north. That's where we're looking for a possible spin up. This is just straight line winds, I think, all the way down to Woodland. But here's the Madison County line. It's coming into Madison County in the next couple of minutes. Down south, the line's a little less prevalent, but it is still producing some strong winds that'll be heading into the Whiteville area. So we'll get to the velocity. Again, what this shows is the wind speeds within that front line and are any possible rotations. Rotation looks minimal, but some pretty intense winds associated with this line now moving from Alamo down through Bells, heading into Woodland right now, and some real bright colors around Hillville. So those could be 50-plus mile-an-hour gusts as well on the way. So that line again extends all the way down south. Watching this in Hillville, coming into Meaden, and then Huntersville. We'll get a loop of the how close it is getting into Jackson too. So we'll continue to watch this. Again, this is 30 minutes. Look how far this storm has moved in 30 minutes. So it kind of tells you how fast it's actually moving. We'll get a ruler on the front edge of this, okay, and then go back to where it started, which is about here. So in about 30 minutes, the storm's moved, 20-some miles, and so we are now 15 miles to Jackson. That's 10 minutes. The storm will be in Jackson here in about 10 minutes. So maybe even a little West Jackson, 10 minutes, maybe closer to 3 towards the east side of town. But it's on the way. So I know if you said, oh, the first one missed us, we're good. Well, you need to stay inside until this one passes as well. because this storm itself is also producing some pretty intense winds, although it may not drop a tornado down. All right, we are going to head to general programming on CBS. I believe we have the, is it March Madness?
I believe it's the Final Four starts today.
All right, so we're going to head to the Final Four on CBS since there are no longer tornado warnings here in West Tennessee. If you're watching us on CBS and you want to continue our weather coverage, you can go to any of our live platforms or you can turn over to ABC right now. So we'll say goodbye to CBS. ABC is still on. All right, enjoy the basketball. All right, so here's what we